We are live. This is Jay Lawrence. I am your tour guide for the day. This is the IOC Daily Edge. And I just want to say to you, welcome, hello. We miss you. Every time I'm done with one of these sort of Daily Edge episodes, I always feel like that I have sort of unleashed, some info, some details, something that could potentially, help to sort of drive, where you are in your day. Our whole goal is to ensure that the things that you do, that you can do it with, what do they call it? Reckless abandonment, meaning that you can just get after it. We want you to be able to pour into your day the way that you know that if you had everything lined up perfectly, right? That like dominoes, you hit one and everything that you want to accomplish throughout this day will fall perfectly for you. This is our intention, right? So again, welcome. And I appreciate in particular our Instagram viewers, right? It's something about Instagram. I don't really understand like how just over time, this particular platform has always sort of been like the fan favorite, where if you want to discover things, you can discover it visually, right? That's the awesome part about Instagram. It kind of strips out a lot of the words, if you will, right? You don't get these super long form things that writings that you'll find on Facebook, and obviously in Twitter is really about, for all intents and purposes, it's really about the written word. But Instagram, particularly allowing us to be able to kind of pull into a stream and go live. And we decided to do this every morning, as you know, is just about 8:02 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We happen to be in Las Vegas. So wherever you are, please do me a little favor, show some love. Tell me by going into the feed, where are you? Just type wherever you are. We want to know, what you're doing. We want you to be able to pour into some of the things that we have going on. And today's topic is really about, ways that you can take the individuals who are your persuaders, how you can actually sort of ensure that those individuals are going to be the people that you want them to be persuading you. Meaning we talked about the book 5 Levels of Leadership a couple of days ago. And again, it's John C. Maxwell, and it's really about you deciding if you're going to take really ownership and inventory of the 5 people who are persuading you. Because again, influence is something that you actually bring into yourself, meaning that you have a lot of information. Hopefully you have a ton of knowledge. Hopefully you have at least 5 people in your universe, right? That love and trust them. You believe when you ask them a question about something, that they can give you their honest opinion, right? Sometimes they're going to give you like written facts, right? You want that. And then you're going to really take all of that together. And then in your quiet moments, this is when you will actually make a decision to validate, is the information, is the knowledge, is that persuasion that they presented to you, is it worthy? Like, do you now have like belief around it? And if that's the case, you actually are the individual that's saying, yes, I'm going to allow that to influence me. Now you have to be really cognizant of these things. Let me explain why. Not many times in life, and I don't know how many times you've had a conversation with someone, as we're having a conversation today, relative to knowing that you can be influenced. And when you begin to be cognizant of that, like you understand that that's what's really happening right now, it sort of like takes your game to the next level. Like you're not just blindly being persuaded to do things without you having full ownership for what you're doing, what you are doing like in the moment. This is about like, how do you sort of like level up your cognition, like your ability to recognize what's happening? How do you level up with that? And remember a couple of days ago, we were talking about meditation, right? I mentioned the fact that I've been a transcendental meditation practitioner for 50 years, right? And this is something that I own. Like no one can convince me or persuade me to step outside of that daily practice. Why? Because that's part of my superpower, right? Meditation allows me to have quiet moments. Meditation allows me to take that persuasion, right? And it allows me to ascertain, to look at it, to make a determination if that persuasion, right, is going to be something that's going to be good for me to whatever moves I want to make, whatever decisions I want to make, whatever I want to own. I need to know that I'm actually taking the time to be quiet and ascertain, like review in my mind, right? Those are moments of persuasion. I go back to this. Who are your persuaders? So I would challenge everybody as follows. And this is what we're going to start to do. I'm going to give everybody a homework assignment. I love to do this for two reasons. One, I believe that if you have something that you can work on, and it's between you and you, if I give you something to work on, I just want you to be able to promise yourself that you're going to have follow through so you can actually realize the benefit of what I'm about to share with you. Okay. Now, if you're driving, don't do this, but I want everybody to take a pledge. Put your hand up right now. I know if you're watching this on Instagram or wherever you happen to be, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, I want you to put your hand up, and I want you to pledge to yourself that you're going to take inventory of the five, at minimum, the five people that you have who are persuading you. Why is this so important? It's because of the following. If you know who they are, and then you think in terms of, do you really value their opinion on certain subjects? If the answer is yes, that individual stays in. If you get to the second person, the answer is no, well, you're going to take them out of your five, right? And these are things that you should, like, literally pen to paper, or, on your phone, give yourself a little list. If you're at an iPhone, get into your notes, whatever. If you're in Notion or Slack, I don't know, however you want to be able to kind of take that information and put it somewhere where you can visually see it, right? And then you're going to take that list and you're going to put people in or take people out. And I have to clarify something. Remember, many times the people who are your persuaders, you don't know them personally. Why? Because we consume so much content, right? If you're on LinkedIn, or you're on Facebook, or you're on YouTube, or you're on Instagram or TikTok, or whatever the platform, there's so much information that's being thrown at you every day. You have to be able to say, okay, look, I'm going to take a little time for myself. I'm not going to get on social media as much as I'm going to learn something. Now I'm going to take the learning and turn that learning into knowledge. Why? Because I say it all the time. Information is information, but knowledge is the only thing that you can monetize, right? Because when you know something, right, you'll know how to actually extract value out of it, right? There's lessons to be learned out of knowing. There's few lessons to learn out of information, right? Because it's not well formed. It's too noisy. It's too many things coming at you at the same time. That's why simply Googling something and then having this laundry list, that's why many times you're so intentional on what you want to Google. Like, you'll Google something like, what movies are out right now, right? You'll Google something that's like very intentional. Should I go to the east side or the west side, right? Because I'm looking for like this definitive. But when you actually want to have more of a broad search, at this point, you're probably going to go to, a GPT, right? Or you're going to go Perplexity, or you're going to go to Cognosis. You're going to go to, oh, wait a minute. Everybody does know what I'm talking about here, right? These are AI platforms. Now, I want to make sure that I stay true to the influence component. I'm talking about being able to sort of scrub through who are your persuaders, scrub through it so you can raise the bar, so the people that are actually in your ear as your advisors, right? Not the complainers. We're talking about advisors. Those individuals who are part of your five, we want you to be able to scrub through that so you can get the best of the best. You owe it to yourself. Look, you're going to go through life anyway, right? You may as well go through life in the realm of which that the things that you do, you get to extract maximum value out of it every single day. So let me go back, and I was asking about AI tools. So I wish I could get someone to comment, and I'm going to ask this: which AI tools are you using every day? That's the question. Please comment. Here's what's so important, guys, is that as you have 5 individuals, I want you to reserve like one of these as your AI co-pilot. So if you have 4 humans and 1 AI, I believe this is the level up move. Let me share with you why. I talked about Googling and getting information, but when you are sort of a practitioner around GPTs or some of the other platforms where you can actually create your own super smart assistant, like your super smart co-pilot, wouldn't you want to have that as one of your persuaders? Like, you would want knowledge, because you can actually extract real knowledge from your GPTs, organize data. There are GPTs now, particularly if you're looking at GPT 4.0, and I call all the AIs GPTs. I know I'm kind of, saying Kleenex versus tissue, right? But you get the point here. What I want you to know is that with the right GPT tuning, and if you haven't built your own GPT or you haven't got into those LLMs, like, do yourself a favor, right? You have to spend time learning and then doing around this thing known as AI. The co-pilots that you build can be that co-pilot that's part of the 5 persuaders, but it could be that co-pilot that's giving you the following. You can take all the information, all of the information you Google, and then the knowledge, hopefully, that the other 4 individuals are pouring into you. You can take that and you can actually run that into your own GPT. Now you can take and have the output is this amalgamation of knowledge, giving you the steps of which that you should take and can take to actually get whatever the job is, whatever the thing you need to be able to do, whether you're planning something, you're building something, whether you are literally trying to sell something, whatever it is, you can actually create your own super smart persuader. The cool thing is that the technology is evolving so quickly that it actually, once you start to like tune them and you understand exactly what you're doing with it, you're going to get to the point where you actually have this, you're almost out of body experience of like having these epiphanies around, wow, I had an idea. I did go to my persuader individuals, right? The people that I have in my space. I did do a little Googling just to see exactly, like, the Googling is like the globe, right? You're trying to find out, like, what is the sphere of all of this that I am looking to do? Then you bring that in to that persuasion mode where you're persuading, people are persuading you, right? And then you get into where it's, now that you've analyzed everything, you're into influence. You see, I'm talking about giving yourself an opportunity to level up. And this is I'm giving you the keys to this individual hack. The hack is be better. The hack is use all of the available resources. Use those resources to give yourself an opportunity to be better, right? So the thing that's super important here, and I want to make sure that I move to the next step, is this. What I'm really giving you are excerpts from something known as the 10 steps to mastery, right? It started, and we had the conversation yesterday or day before yesterday. We talked about persuasion. So persuasion is like the aha moment. Now we're talking, then the next day we talked about persuasion, right? And so we're kind of blending persuasion, because once you have the persuasion in place, you know who they are, and you're actually seeking information, seeking knowledge, seeking learning opportunities in that persuasion. Now you're ascertaining all of that, you're analyzing it, and now you're, based on the outcome of that, there's where you step into influence. You're feeling like, you know what? I validated the information. I think this is what I should do. Because after influence, the next step is belief. You see, rarely can you have belief unless you actually have some influence. Something has had to sway you in the direction, whereas in belief, it becomes like, it's sort of like tactile, right? You could feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your soul, right? That this is the thing to do. That's where belief lies. So there are camps that say that everything lives or dies on belief, right? If you believe it, you're going to move on it, because after belief, right, is knowing. So just for today, we're going to focus on, and we have been talking about some about persuasion, some about influence, but then that next step is belief. And I'm going to share this with you. Your belief system is something that you should actually make part of your personal principles. Like, I principally believe in the following. Give yourself a chance. Remember I said, have a note, right? This is a section in that note where we talked about who the persuaders are, because the influence is going to come as long as you have these high quality persuaders. And I talked about that, how AI, if you pour into creating GPTs, or you're working within Perplexity, or you're working in Cognosis, and there are a myriad of others, but those are the top of mind for me, right? Because these are the things that we do. We leverage the technologies to make us exponentially smarter, and we're smarter because we are purveyors of knowledge, right? We take in knowledge, we extract value from it, and we get after it. Now, the whole goal here, right? The whole goal is for you to live and stay in profit mode. Okay. Profit mode is PROFIT and PROPHET. Profit bottom line, profit knowledge, right? Both of those profits are where you want to be every single day, all day long, right? Because again, remember, the profit is like a scale, right? You never really want to be so far out of balance where you have less profit with an F and so much profit with the PH that you're focusing so much just on the knowledge around something that you haven't figured out and how to unlock the monetization of that knowledge. You have to be balanced. So why? Well, I don't know. In the United States, you need to have money, right? You need to be a profit creator. You need to be a profit retainer, and you need to be a profit reinvestor. This is the ways of the wealthy, right? So those are the principles that you need to lean into. Like, again, I go into more depth inside the insidersonly.club, our whole platform. You guys can go to that particular page. I'll pop it in here. Give me 2 seconds. You can go to that particular link. You'll get more information. But I want to make sure that you guys today, you take ownership for who is persuading you, why that persuasion should be influencing you, how you need to make sure you spend time in that influence space. So when you get to the belief aspect of it down the line, like the belief is the next step, like I said, you want to have a strong, unbreakable belief system, right? You want to know, you want to believe, you want to have influence. Like, all of those come together, because what happens is that once you have a knowing of something, and that's why I talk about like making sure that knowledge, you know that knowledge is the thing that you can monetize, because this is all part of building knowledge. Whereas by the time you get to after the knowing something, now you're into the doing something, right? And the doing of it is where you're really getting in the bag. Like, you're focusing on creating physical profit, like profit that shows up in your bank account. But before this was the profit with the PH, the persuasion, the influence, the belief, right? The knowledge, the knowing, the doing, like anything right up to doing, all of that is the PHET profit, right? And I know, I'm kind of like taking you guys on this journey, but I want you to clearly understand, like, there is no other way to win. You have to be able to break down the things that you're going to do, not in a mechanical sense, but in a sense of like knowing what stage you're in developing a new idea, right? Knowing what stage you're in making a life decision, knowing what stage you're in, knowing if it's time for you to pivot and do something else, right? Like all of those things, again, you have to know that you have to have an even keel balance between profit and profit. Okay, as nutty as that sounds, I'm going to tell you guys, lean into that. Again, hit the link, insidersonly.club. I want to share one more thing before you guys go. We are offering something inside the Insiders Only Club, and I think that if you take a real hard look at this, the thing that we're offering is your opportunity to kind of evangelize with us knowledge. And so Insiders Only Club is about like making sure that people who value, right, highly valuable knowledge, that they learn how to actually monetize that knowledge. It's whatever you're doing in life, you know for a fact that you can always do it better, right? We have this saying internally. It is, we want to work less, profit more, experience better. This is that. If in fact you're somebody who's a corporate side hustler, which many people are, it's so funny. Like I have, associates and friends and people are working in all sorts of levels in finance and insurance and medicine and fitness. We have engineers, we have barristers, at Starbucks. We have people that work at Amazon, all sorts of people, right? Insiders Only Club. I'd say about 80% of the people at one time or another, they were or they are a corporate side hustler, meaning that you were working for a big company or a company, mid-sized company, but you had your own dream to do your own thing. It may be something that you would do that's in alignment with what you're already doing. You're just going to have a different version of it, right? Or it may be something diametrically opposed from where you're working right now. We at Insiders Only Club, we have a framework, a formula, a pathway, a roadmap, a set of milestones and goals that you place what you want to be. I used to say, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? Where you want to be when you want to grow into your super successful business owner, right? Super successful business controller, right? Super successful board member, right? Of the business of which that it was born maybe out of your brain or somebody else's, but you guys collaborated and now you're going to take this company to a new level. Insiders Only Club has a roster of masterclasses. Right now, we're up to 29 high value masterclasses. I'm going to start sharing with you guys like the inside, pull the curtain back so you can actually see how we constructed these individual courses, right? They're big courses. We refer to them as masterclasses because we teach them live and we record them, right? So when we go live, this gives you the opportunity to ask the burning question. We're really talking about things listen, it's very important for you to actually own your own personal brand. You need to know who you are. You need to understand, why is this so important? And I got to pull this from this incredibly smart, genius level branding expert. Her name is Sally Hogshead. Sally Hogshead created something known as How to Fascinate. And it is, I'm just going to give you the super abridged version. The How to Fascinate is really about how the world sees you versus how you see the world. What's really important is what I'm giving you today. The reason we talked about, again, we've been talking about this week about, persuasion, persuasion, influence, belief, knowledge, and doing, is because it's best that you take the views from those who you know, love, and trust, so you can understand how they're seeing you in that particular space. Why? Because you're practicing on being your best. You see, when you focus on how not you see the world, is how the world sees you, and you're leaning into being your best self, that means that if they see you at your best and you practice on leaning into being your best every day, of those things that make you the best, there's a billion things that you can be in terms of your mindset, in terms of your actions. There's all these combinations, right? Think of it as this massive game of Go, right? Where there's this infinite moves that you can make in life. But when you figure out, and this is what the IOC does, we help you figure out what is your best self. Like we want to get you out of perception, because what you perceive is not necessarily reality, right? Perception is 99% of the truth, but it's that 1%, right? Which leaves room for you to adjust your perspective, because as soon as you get into perspective, you're looking at things from a different lens. And so we're asking you to do is, let's start considering drilling down to ensure that we know how the world sees us, and if that's how we want to be seen. Understand, like, it's super important. Let's get extreme clarity around what you really want to be seen as. And if it's not aligned with your real feelings, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna turn around and we're gonna walk through the processes, because this, again, it's a process, it's a system, like it's practice, right? Practicing, helping you to practice along with us, because we're all walking through this together, to make sure that the way the world sees us, it makes you feel great. Like, I was once in the hot seat. Abraham Hicks, anybody know? It was about Abraham. And I closed out my segment in the hot seat, and I shared with Abraham. I said, you know, there's only one like super thing that I learned from you. And it is that you taught me, Abraham, to only do the things that make me feel great. And with that, you guys make me feel great. I so appreciate you. Anybody and everybody who's listening in and pouring in and tapping in, you make me feel, being able to be here every single morning and sort of like walk through this with you is gratifying. I have so much appreciation for you. And I want to say, have an amazing day. Tap into insidersonly.club. Okay. Let's figure this thing out together. The only thing I can say is have an amazing, blessed day. You're powerful. We love you because you're worth it. I'm Jay Lawrence, Daily Edge. Poof, it was done. Talk to you tomorrow.